My name is Jonathan Parks, and welcome to Jonathan's Nature Crafts. I must inform you that I do not live in this house by myself, but live here with other people. Sometimes other members of the household may have to walk through areas where I might be recording with other family members on the phone. If you hear any noise like that, please feel free to disregard. We are doing our best to get noise-canceling equipment, which may at least keep you from hearing exactly what is being said. Thank you for considering. This is a little moment when I decide to come on and share a little extra work as to what I'll be doing at this point, and I say that it just so happened I just finished this weekend carving a little bull terrier out of some tamarind exotic wood, and I will tell you, in the past I've carved a little bull terrier out of some Tuplio wood. I just found out in my little scraps that I still have one Tuplio blank left for one and one other tamarind blank left for one, but carved on the tamarind one this week in my Woodcarvers Guild meeting, so decided to come around and kind of turn the camera down and let you all see how I sanded, and we'll talk a little bit about bull terriers as we kind of sand along on this. Would like to sort of tell you all just about some of the ways I got into learning about dog breeds. It just so happened that I started working in a baseball stadium, and sometimes in that baseball stadium where I worked, they had certain nights in the summer when they would have what they called Bark in the Park, where you bring your dog to the ballpark, and I mean, I'd say if it was like some type of a medical dog or some kind of service dog, they'd probably allow it any time, but you know, on Bark in the Park night, that was a bring your dog night, and one of those nights that anybody could bring their dog with them of any sort that it was. I'd reach down and pet on those dogs and ask the patrons what breed the dogs were. I mean, and even before that, I will tell you all that even as a kid, I used to see Spuds McKenzie on some little signs when I was out and about in shopping centers, and even would see him on the TV, and had some peers at school even tell me about Spuds McKenzie and kind of introduced me to him a little bit, so that was kind of how I got to know that he was just a certain kind of dog. And one night I happened to be at the ballpark and I saw somebody had a dog with them that I thought kind of resembled Spuds, so I asked them about the breed. They told me he was bull terrier. I had sort of forgotten that over time, but once I decided I wanted to start carving different dog breeds and had people asking me about dogs I carved and the different breeds I could make, I started kind of looking at patterns online, and just to try to, you know, get a little good memory of what breed he was, I did have to look up Spuds on Wikipedia to find out his breed again, find out what he was, and of course I did read on there that he was bull terrier, so I kind of did like I did the way I come up with my patterns for any kind of dog. I Google them and look for the images of them, and that's where I find out what kind of dog they are, and kind of, I would say, just get my ideas from looking at images as to how I'm going to draw out the pattern for whatever breed of dog I'm going to make. And ever since drawing out these patterns and making them, I've been keeping a collection of them in a little manila envelope that I sometimes bring back out again when I want to trace the pattern on a piece of wood and make some more dogs of that breed. And I'd say there's probably plenty of animals I do that with. I mean, I have wolves, coyotes, foxes. They're all kind of wild breeds of dogs, but still have them and still make them nonetheless. I'd say that as we sand along here, we come to this place where we're almost done, and I decided that when we come a little further along, there's going to be a point where we're going to probably start burning in the details. And this is a moment when we kind of get around the dog's face and kind of get a little bit of an extra bit of work done just to try to smooth off or kind of try to get rid of all those lines and wrinkles in the wood and try to make it like the way a certain kind of dog ought to look, and come down to where we're going to have the little sign we're going to see when we all get done with the work. And as of how this little dog is going to come out, try to put a little work into him to make him see what they're really supposed to look like when you get them all done. They're going to be good little blessed dogs to us, and I say that we are just kind of at the working point where we need things to be, just to make things so they're unique and special in the kind of work we do for them, and come down to where we see what a little dog shall come its way to do. I say that this is just the kind of work that it's going to be sense worthy to come down and make. And I say that there's been some carving steps that have already been accomplished here. I think I'm going to come back and kind of try to take some other little sandpaper grits and kind of get a little bit more out, just the little bit we can as we go about this. And kind of got a grit that's the same color. This one was 40, but this one is 60. So I'd say that we're taking it down lighter ways as we go. And one little interesting thing I learned, I didn't know this as a kid, because, you know, in our family, you know, nobody drank, so we didn't really pay much attention to beer logos and commercials about it and things like that. But I found out that there was like some kind of beer or another that Spuds was the mascot for, and don't even remember exactly what it was, but probably have no reason to care. I don't drink either, so I'd say that this is where these little lines come about. And I know one thing for sure, I've heard about how these dogs can be nice little breeds. I tell you, I even made a pattern for a corgi once, but never carved it out at all. That would be a little interesting for you to see if I ever got around to carving that out. And would probably say that I have some good wood for it as well. Some pieces of wood that will definitely be useful to it. And I'd like to even mention that after I kind of had the Tamarind piece of block that I sawed these little blanks for the bull terriers out of, that there was a certain piece of that Tamarind that was left, and given its shape, I was able to cut two little scraps off of it and have little things I could make from that, and have it come down to just being the thing where it was just like something that I knew was in the shape of some kind of a bird, but did kind of have to Google that to see what it would be. Just type in a bird with that description, and sure enough, some good answers came up. This is probably a 120 grit here. That's the next one we need. And I would say that whenever it came up, there were little examples that came up as little Asian flycatchers and Asian paradise flycatchers. As a matter of fact, the color of the wood was good for them. I was able to kind of paint them in a way that I could kind of have a little color in them like the ones in the pictures. And I've even would say I have posted some pictures of them on certain pages and seen how I've shown all that extra work done into those little flycatcher birds. And I'd say for all the kind of little extra help we have in life, this is going to make one of those things where I can hope this business can get to be a little rather successful, because it's all about just taking the scraps and making them into things you can make them into. And so we're almost getting a little bit about to be done with the sanding. It can be hard to really sand out this whole thing, kind of get it as straight as we need to get it, but we're kind of going to get rid of things the best way we can. I say that this is just kind of like the way it's going to work when we all get done and work our way into what we do. And I say, how about we just take a little pencil and make certain little lines, a little line here to make the little nose where it's going to be, and just, I say, kind of get that straight in. One little thing to go down the center and make the little mouth, and I say, kind of put this little line down here to make the end of the rest of the face. I'd say this is how we got it to turn out now. There's one little eye we're going to put over here. Try to make a line to go to about the same place on the other side of the head where we should draw the other little dot there. And these two little dots will make up the eyes. You know, from what I see, they seem like they're at about the same level like they need to be. And then I say that there comes a time when we'll get out a little rotary tool and sort of just like, I say, kind of put a little bit of detail into the dogs just like that. So, there's just a certain little piece we're going to use here. This little head right here is going to be used to make the nose. Apparently this guy needs to be plugged in, so kind of get a little work done there. And so with what work we have, we got a little place in for the nose. I'd say there's like other little pieces we're going to get out and try to get out a little bit of a little bit of a bit just to kind of put in the place of the old one, and kind of like just put in the little detail for the eyes. Now there's probably going to be a step or two we're going to take just to make a little spot or two show here or there. And I'd say at this point we've got the little, there's a certain pin you want to have on the burner, the skew tip, and come back and do things a little different here. Kind of put in the little triangles that make the insides of the ears, and show how this little dog shall make a little way come to us. And I say that with all it's going to be, we're going to try to put in a little bit of detail here, kind of try to like make it so the mouth is going to show a little better when we get it all done in the very long run. I say that it's already starting to smell to me like some old kind of cigarette smoke, this little burning of wood is. And kind of try to get a little bit of extra faith in what we're doing. And last but not least, I will say there's one last thing I want to do. Probably gotta try to get this mouth straight first. I say try to get it in a little bit of a fashionate direction. I say kind of try to work a little ways with all we're having. And so we're just going to kind of remove this little tip here, kind of, you know, take this one that is used for shading, and there's a certain thing we do with that. Around one eye we put a big shiner, and that is just probably part of what a bull terrier looks like. Spuds has that. Some bull terriers have it. Not all of them do, but I'd say this is probably, maybe even coming out to be a better little spot around the eye than we had with even the first bull terrier that I made. This is only the second one that I made, and it's probably been a year or two, maybe 3 years since I made my first. But it's like they always say, second time is the charm. That's a common phrase I've heard used, and so that is how this is coming to be about. And when we kind of get the circle done around the eye, we will just about be finished with the whole dog. And I say that I'm just kind of running out of little containers to soak things in for the moment, but you know, this is just kind of one little thing where, like I've told you all, I soak things in a little container full of boiled linseed oil, and that's what kind of replenishes the wood, how it soaks it in into the fibers and kind of makes its little finish and color come out. And I'd say is for a little bit of work to be done. There's going to be more to show as we move further along. Perhaps this Tamarind might even just have little dots in it that could almost be like the natural little dots on a bull terrier, and this little place where you see this little difference in the grain there, and kind of make some special little marks. But I do want to tell you about Tamarind that when you soak it in linseed oil, it does turn to a darker gray, as I have noticed. So you can always just learn to be prepared for that whenever you use it. And I will have more to share on the next video when we carve something else. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. I hope to see you in the next video. Stay tuned.